Party like it's, well, before 2013, because Syracuse men's basketball was on the road this week taking on some old Big East rivals. Were the Orange dancing against the Wildcats and the oh-so-hated Hoyas? You'll have to stick around to find out.
And the women are starting to hit their stride. Where are the doubters now? Find out what's going right for the revamped Syracuse women's basketball team.
Plus, it's our final show of 2021, and it's the giving season. So toss on your tuxes, walk down the red carpet, and join us for the Benchies. All that and much more right now on the Bench. Welcome one, welcome all into the final On the Bench episode of the year. It's been a great run covering all the sports on the Hill. Let's top it off with one more jam-packed show. Alongside Brad Klein, I'm Jaron May. This has been a whole lot of fun, Brad. A lot of sports.
I'm only going to cry later in the show. I'm not going to do it now.
No tears right now.
There's a lot to smile about because the sports.
Yeah, let's smile. Let's smile, and let's start with our headlines of the week. Monday was a day that ends in Y, so Sean Tucker won yet another award. This time, the second-year freshman was named an AP second-team All-American. This is the fifth different outlet to give the running back an AA nod. Tucker set the Syracuse single-season rushing record with just under 1,500 yards and added 14 touchdowns. He just needs recognition from Sporting News and AFC to become a consensus All-American.
Yeah, Sean Tucker doing some really special things. Meanwhile, his former battery mate, former Syracuse quarterback Tommy DeVito, he's moving on. Found a new home in Champaign. The redshirt junior is transferring to Illinois. DeVito lost the starting role to Garrett Schrader in the first month of this year. He has one more year of eligibility for the Illini. The former four-star is projected to start right away.
Well, exciting news for him. Syracuse football has hired Bob Ligashevsky as a new special teams coordinator. The Pennsylvania native has 37 years of coaching experience, including 12 seasons in the NFL, where he won a Super Bowl with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Most recently, Ligashevsky was at Bowling Green. Now he joins a Syracuse squad that didn't have a special teams coordinator last season, which was evident if you watched their games, Brad.
Yeah, they really have to patch up that third phase because they lost pretty much every game special teams.
Yeah, and you know that Dino Babers is a key on special teams. All right, a week ago, Syracuse men's basketball was riding high. The Orange were coming off wins over Indiana and Florida State and had some momentum going to Madison Square Garden. But waiting there for them was an old Big East rival, Villanova, a Wildcats squad that was ranked number 6 in the country and ready for battle. Let's roll that tape to find out how that battle went. The 175th time Syracuse played at Madison Square Garden, the Mecca, a whole sea of orange in the stands, and Syracuse treated them early in this one. Who else should start the scoring but Cole Swider, the Villanova transfer, points up to the rafters and gets the first 3 points on the board. His former teammate, Jermaine Samuels, answers right back. He just went 2 for 9 from range, but Colin Gillespie said, "It's all right, teammate. I can hit from deep as well." A whole lot of threes, back and forth we go, but then Syracuse starts to pour it on, and they go to the hot hand of Joe Girard. Watch this. Ooh, crossover. Another one. Step back, Hezzy. Bang! In your face. 8 first-half points for JG3 in the Mecca, and Syracuse would take a 3-point lead into the halftime break over the number 6 team in the country. But then the second half, the Orange started to fall apart because the offensive glass, 27 offensive rebounds in favor of Villanova. That led to second chance, third chance, fourth chance opportunities for the Wildcats. They also out-rebounded the Orange in general by 21, and you just can't do that to such a talented team like Villanova. This was the nail in the coffin, though. Colin Gillespie gets the steal, dumps it off, and Samuels hammers it home, yells to the crowd as well. Villanova would just put a little more icing on the cake, up by 10 with 4 minutes to go, and that's just rude right there from Justin Moore. Nova up by 12, and they would cruise to an easy victory, 67-53. 50 made, or rather 50 taken threes in this game for Villanova. Ridiculous, but the Wildcats get the W.
All right, so Syracuse had to dust themselves off from one old Big East rival to another. The 95th meeting all-time between Syracuse and Georgetown. The first for the Cornell transfer Jimmy Boeheim. He grew up with this rivalry, the 8th time in 10 games that he opens the scoring for Syracuse, then a kick out. Cole Swider 3, bang, 6 minutes in, Syracuse up by 1. Identical 3, identical spot, Joe Girard keeping that 1-point lead 3 minutes later. Then he's facilitating big-time jolt from the bench. Frank Anselm, big-time part of that. A 2-point lead. It was Anselm, and then it was Benny Williams. All 9 bench points coming in the first frame. Not typically seeing much from the bench. In fact, only 18% of SU's minutes this year coming off the bench. That's why they had a 10-point lead at the break. But Georgetown read the scouting report. They knew, hey, Syracuse typically a first-half team. Aminu Muhammad, then Caden Rice. It was a 3-point barrage, but Syracuse, they were no exception to that. Buddy Boeheim, 3 of 7 from 3 after going 0 for 12 going into this game. Cole Swider, mirror image. Then Colin Holloway, shimmy underneath Jesse Edwards. Georgetown up by 3, 6 minutes left. Oh, just wedgie. How about that? Disgusting. But Jesse Edwards says, hey, I'm a few inches taller, 2 minutes left, turnaround layup good. SU up by 1. Aminu Muhammad, pivot, triple threat, shot good. 15-foot jumper and the projected first-round pick showing you why. Then a kick out for Caden Rice. He was 4 for 14 from 3. Syracuse down by 4. 10 seconds left. They need the basket, and this is best-case scenario. Joe Girard and 1. So now the best free throw shooter on the team. Oh, no way. No way. He misses the free throw. Chance to go down by 1. Georgetown gets the rebound, hits the free throws, and the Hoyas walk away with a 4-point lead, 4-point win. Noah Searson had plenty more.
The 97th ever matchup between Georgetown and Syracuse was a tale of two halves after Syracuse dominated into the first half and took a 10-point lead into the locker room. But then the Hoyas regrouped, made those necessary adjustments, and came out in a flurry, scoring 45 second-half points on the way to a 79-75 victory. And after the game, the Orange locker room lamented on another disappointing performance.
On the defensive end, they just hurt us in the high post area. They're scoring a lot in there, and then just a couple threes we have to contest better and be out there and ready to go.
Yeah, I definitely have something to look at them because that's something that can't happen, obviously. And I'll be in the gym with Coach. I'll be in the office with him looking at tape. It's something that can't happen. So
I think we just got to be mentally ready to play defense, because I feel like offensively we can get whatever we want, but if we're not getting stops on the other end, that's kind of harder to do. Like we saw it in the second half, but we learn from losses.
Coach Boeheim did say after the game that he's proud of the effort his team is giving and that a week of practice before their next game will be a necessary one. That game, of course, at home against Lehigh. Reporting from Capital One Arena, I'm Noah Searson, Citrus TV.
Noah, thanks so much. Now, Syracuse at home and Syracuse on the road, 2 completely different teams this season. You look at the stats, 3-1 in the Dome, just 2-4 on the road. Now, granted, they are playing a lot of great teams. You think about Villanova, you think about Georgetown, you think about that battle for Atlantis where they just went 1-2, but you gotta win these games on the road if you want to have a chance later in March. Syracuse needs to focus on those road games. All right, let's send it over to Brad, who has a special guest with all you need to know in the big storylines right now for SU Men's Hoops.
Now we bring in a Cuse Countdown host to bring in a little special flair on the bench. Noah Searson, thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah, Brad, thanks so much for having me. It's been quite the year for Syracuse basketball, so I had to come on to break it all down.
Yeah, Noah testing out the temperature of the water on the other side on the bench. Team OTB now. Hey, we'll see. Maybe I convince you by the end of this segment. Talking about SU hoops here, and more specifically, talking about the non-conference schedule didn't go so well.
Yeah, Brad, it's been tumultuous, to say the least, for the Orange, especially over the last week. And it's because the Orange can't execute on 2 simple, basic facets of being a great basketball team, and that's rebounding and that's defense. You look back to when they played Villanova at Madison Square Garden, out-rebounded in that one by 21. And even against Georgetown just this last weekend on Saturday, out-rebounded by 7 in a game that they were actually out rebounding the Hoyas for a long time in that first half. So the Orange haven't been able to execute on these basic facets, and it's really holding down what could be a great team. But if you ask Jim Boeheim, he'd say the same exact thing in every single presser. He says, we're just not there yet. We're not amongst the greats.
Yeah, so Syracuse not doing what they need to do. The starters specifically, the bad news for SU is that the reinforcements ain't coming anytime soon. Only 18% of the team's minutes coming off the bench.
Yeah, Brad, and a lot of people in the past have put this on Coach Boeheim, but the fact of the matter is nobody off this Orange bench is ready to play impact minutes. A lot of people thought that Benny Williams was going to be somebody that could come into the game and make an instant impact, but the fact of the matter is his offensive game is not there yet. He's a physical freak, honestly. Definitely the most athletic guy on the team, but hasn't really come into his own being able to play in that body. Symir Torrance, another guard, come off the bench, play some minutes, but he can't really shoot either. And then Frank Anselm at center has actually played some good minutes when he's been given the time, Brad. But Jesse Edwards has just been playing so well all season long, so there's really been no reason for Anselm to play too many minutes. And the fact that the Orange haven't developed somebody off the bench, it's really hurt them, like you said.
Yeah, Jesse Edwards really the only bright spot for Syracuse this year. It's a slow start for the Orange, no question about that. 5-5, but it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish come ACC play especially. So how do you think this ACC schedule is going to play out?
Yeah, Brad, I think there are definitely some opportunities to pick up wins. Of course, you get that ACC opening win at Florida State, but when you look at the fact that teams like Wake Forest, teams like Miami may be outperforming expectations, I don't think SU is going to be able to clean up an ACC play like people think. Might be able to go 12-8, but that only gets them to 17 wins, and at that point, they'd really need to go on a run in the ACC tournament. So I think it's possible for the Orange to really go on a run, but looking at what they've done so far this season, I don't like their odds, Brad.
Those years in giving you the insight, rubbing the crystal ball from Q's Countdown. Team OTB, what do you think?
No comment.
No comment. Good answer. That's the correct answer. Hey, maybe I can convince you with a little something special we have going on this week.
You hear that music, you know that it is our favorite time of the year. Welcome to the Benchies. If you are new to the program, the Benchies are our annual award show here on the Bench. We have 6 categories, 3 nominees for each, and throughout the show, we will be handing out different awards as we start off with the best newcomer. Brad, our first nominee, please.
This is an honor that I get to be first.
Yes.
All right. So many great candidates, too. Newcomer number 1, Emma Ward. The freshman stepped in for an injury-riddled women's lacrosse team. The Orange lost their 2 best players, and what happens? Ward just piggybacks them to the national championship game. Where would this team be without the freshman that never looked like a freshman?
Oh my goodness, 43 goals, 30 assists. She was ridiculous. Our second nominee for Best Newcomer goes to another lacrosse player, Owen Hiltz of SU Men's Lax. The number 2 overall recruit lived up to the hype, yes, of course, with the team leading 29 goals, which was 7th best in the ACC, and added 19 assists. He averaged just under 4 points per game, the best mark of any freshman in the conference. Hiltz was also an integral part of Syracuse's ride, causing the most turnovers of any attackman.
Yeah, Owen Hiltz, one of the shortest players on the team, but it quickly
Big in
emerged.
stature.
Hey, I dig it. Anyone that's re-representing the whole short thing, you got my vote. But don't forget about Victoria Kanapetskaya. The freshman debuted at 121st nationally on the tennis court, ended the year 20th. The Belarus native is 5th all-time, or rather the 5th All-American in program history. One of just 2 freshmen who earned All-ACC first-team honors. SU hasn't had a player like this since Gabrielle Knudsen. Then again, Jaron, maybe they never even had a player like this. She is a once-in-a-generation
Really
player.
talented. A lot of great newcomers here at Syracuse this year. We got to hand out the very first Benchie Award. Now, I do have it right here. Here we go.
Should I do the drum roll?
Yeah, I'm going to need a drum roll, please. The first Benchie goes to the best newcomer, and that is Emma Ward. Emma Ward, our best newcomer and the first Benchie of 2021. Congratulations to the Syracuse women's lacrosse star. Oh my goodness, she was fantastic this year. We have plenty more of the Benchies as we will hand out more awards and recap some of SU women's hoops after the break. Don't go anywhere. OTB will BRB.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. God, no.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Come on, it's not that hard.
My big man fingers are having a problem with these little tiny buttons.
Whoa, watch it there. Your blood pressure's gonna go through the roof.
Tell me about it. I'm trying to learn how to get it down. Instead, it keeps going up.
High blood pressure can increase the risk for heart attack or stroke. Learn how to keep yours at a healthy range.
Ever hear a voice command? Just say text barbershop to 97779.
That's not what I said.
Just give me that. Now my blood pressure's up.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Welcome back into the CitrusTV studio for On the Bench. I'm Jaron May. He's Brad Klein. And Brad, we have some Cuse women's hoops to talk about.
Yeah, Syracuse women's basketball just starting to hit their stride. They're starting to figure it out. A win over a top 20 team, Ohio State. They had the critics rethinking some things, but that was just a really strong performance singularly in a bubble. So do you want to be occasionally great or just consistently good? Dino Baberism, but what are you going to do? Hey, if you want to buckle up, if you want to find out what this team could be, check out the next couple of games. It was Syracuse, it was Cornell. Roll the video. Let's see how it went down. The Orange have only lost to Cornell once, back in 2003. This is a bad time to be playing SU. Bad hand for Cornell to be dealt because SU riding a 3-game win streak, their first of the year. Christiana Carr picking up where they left off. A 9-2 lead early on, 7:45 left in the first. Let's go to the second. Syracuse had Anya McNicholas just go right past them, cleaning up the layup, 25-14 Orange. Then SU took over. Alasia Stiles underneath, 39-22 at the break. And then Christiana Carr with the steal in the backcourt. Full court press was working really strong. Von Reed sticking to that patented full court press. Pocket pass inside. Najee Murray the finish. 54-27 Syracuse. At this point, Cornell is just hoping for the best. Throwing the ball at the backboard. Elena Rice the rebound. And let's just jump right to the good stuff. Juliana Walker the 3. Syracuse 71, Cornell 33. Again, desperation time for the Big Red. This play encapsulates the game. A minute left. Bounce pass, fast break. That's how it's done. And Elena Rice with the deuce. The final, 85-55. Syracuse, a handed, comfortable win over Cornell.
So that is 3 straight wins for Syracuse. Then a couple days later, the Orange take on Clemson in the Dome, looking for 4 straight, and they welcome in a familiar face in Kiera Lewis, the former Syracuse point guard, transferred to the Tigers. She opens up the scoring less than a minute in, but it was a short-lived lead for Clemson. Gabby Elliott nails the tray in the corner, and then Syracuse went to its bread and butter. The Orange ranked second in the ACC in most threes attempted. They went 4 for 7 from range in the second frame, and it was in large part thanks to Najee Murray. She had a team-high 21 points, including 4 3-pointers, and then right before the halftime break, she becomes the distributor, and Chrysalyn Carr ends up with it in the corner 3. Syracuse took a 13-point lead into the halftime break. It was more of the same. Read your scouting report, Tigers. You can't leave Najee Murray wide open. She gets another 3. The Orange dominate the third period, 25-7, only allowing 7 points. The bank is open in the fourth. Oh my goodness, everyone was scoring for Syracuse. A season high 28 assists, and the Orange cruised to an 86-46 win, the first ACC win in Von Reed's acting head coach career, and Steven Sklar was there after the game.
Wine, 401ks, Syracuse women's basketball. Now, what do these three things have in common? They all get better with time. If you had said just a couple of weeks ago, after that run in the Bahamas, that SU would have a 40-point conference win under their belt, you would have been called crazy. But acting head coach Von Reed says that this team just needed a little bit of time to get their chemistry together.
And they want to play for each other. And when you have that, you can't coach that. You can't force players to want to play with each other. They either got to want to do it. And our players have bought into each other, and they share so much joy in each other's success. It's amazing.
For a lot of the newcomers in this locker room, it's been an unusual, unfamiliar, and maybe even at times an uncomfortable ride. They're being asked to do a lot of things that they haven't done in their past. Just ask Chrissy Carr. This hasn't been an easy transition for her.
Well, my whole basketball career, I've never really had to play inside. I played with 6'6", top rebounder in the country my whole basketball career, so getting in the paint and rebounding really wasn't on my agenda.
SU will get the next week off, and when they return, they get a little break from conference play. Next Saturday at 11 a.m., they'll take on UMBC on the court right behind me. From the Carrier Dome, I'm Steven Sklar, Citrus TV.
Oh, thanks, Steven. 19 points for Christiana Carr in that last win over Clemson. It's the two-headed monster. Christiana, Chrislyn, no relation, both transfers from the Big 12 and both making big impacts. Two of the top three scorers for the Orange. Chrislyn with 15 points per game, but that's her career average. She's supposed to do that. Christiana notching a career best in field goal and three-point percentage. So that's good for Syracuse. I'll tell you what's even better. It's the benchies. All right, we've already crowned a newcomer of the year on the benchies. It's time for Performance of the Year. Ooh, right there.
There it is. All right.
Get us started. Nominees.
Our first nominee for Best Performance is Sean Tucker versus UAlbany. I mean, how can we not bring this one up? The back tallied over 250 all-purpose yards and became just the first player in program history to have 100-plus rushing and receiving yards in a game. Not to mention, Tucker also found the end zone 5 times, the second most in SU history, only behind the greatest of all time, Jim Brown. Sean Tucker, ridiculous against UAlbany.
Yeah, he had a couple of those. I feel like you could have 3 candidates worth of just Sean Tucker. Yeah. But Buddy Boeheim in the first round of the NCAA tournament wasn't too shabby either. Strong contender, the then junior erupted for 30 points against San Diego State, 7 of 10 from 3. That tied his career high, and that's also the second best mark for an SU shooter in the NCAA tournament. Jerry McNamara had 9 in 04.
Also seems like we could pull out a couple Buddy Buckets performances for these best performances. The third and final nominee for best performance is Megan Tyrell versus Loyola in the Orange's 20-8 win over the Greyhounds in the NCAA quarterfinals. Tyrell set the program tournament record with 7 goals. The junior also added 3 assists, upping her point total to 10. So if you do your math correctly, Megan Tyrell was responsible for half of SU scores and led her team to a blowout win over a top 10 opponent.
Yeah, something tells me we're going to be hearing more from Megan Tyrell later in this show, but
Probably.
Do we hear anything from her now?
I don't know. You tell me.
The winner for Performance of the Year on the benchies, Buddy Buckets, San Diego State. First round of the NCAA tournament. He'd like to thank the Academy, and maybe this honor is a bit of a reminder of what his game was. Boeheim is just 3 for his last 19 from beyond the arc. Maybe, just maybe, this benchy helps him get off the schneid. But coming up on the bench, Syracuse Ice Hockey has one more weekend before they could just kick back for winter break. They hosted a Princeton team that actually plays Benner on the road. What does that mean for Paul Flanagan's squad? Find out in 60 seconds.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
On the Bench continues to chug along in the CitrusTV studio. Welcome on back. Alongside Brad Klein, I'm Jaron May. We've talked a lot about the hardwood already, so let's switch over to the rink where we find Syracuse women's ice hockey. The Orange hit their mid-season mark last week, sitting at just 6-8-3. With postseason play looming, SU was trying to get a couple more tallies in the win column this past weekend against Princeton. We start with a Friday evening showdown. Syracuse hasn't beaten Princeton since 2009, so the Orange hungry to get a win over the Tigers, and they got on the board first thanks to Abby Maloney, a goal just 11 minutes into it. Then, 7 minutes later, Sarah Marchand gets on the board as well. She had 1 goal and 2 assists in that one. Syracuse leads 2-0, but you knew the Tigers would come back firing, and that's exactly what they do. They score 7 minutes into the second period, 33 seconds later, and we're tied up at 2 apiece. Then the Orange go up 3-2. Lauren Belafontaine, she scores. Back and forth we go. It was 3-2, now it's 3-3. Steph Wallace with a goal for Princeton on the outside. Back and forth. Syracuse capitalizes on the power play, and the Orange get 3 of their 4 goals in this game with an extra player on the ice. But we gotta tie this game up before the end of regulation, and that's exactly what Princeton's Grace Kuipers does exactly. So we head into overtime, and in that overtime period, the Orange had a couple good looks. Jessica DiGirolamo had the shot and rebound, but they couldn't finish, and it stays a 4-4 tie.
Yeah, you're right, Jaron. Syracuse had their chances and then some. So after a somewhat disappointing tie, last game before break, the next day against Princeton, SU needed this one for momentum's sake, but Princeton gets off to a quick start. Maggie Connors 1-0 after the deke. 9th goal of the year, 8:15 left in the first. Then Princeton adding on into the second. Kate Monahan, 2-0 Princeton, 13 minutes left in the second. So Syracuse needed an answer. They got it. It was Madison Primo between the hashes early on in the third period. So, hey, Syracuse jumping on Primo. They have some momentum now, and they did everything they could and should to get back in this game. They outshot Princeton by 10 in the third period. Nothing doing from Ariel McHale. And then it's the best offensive defenseman in program history, Jessica DiGirolamo. Nothing doing. And SU skates away with a 2-1 loss. Merry Christmas and Merry Christmas, Chile.
It was a tough night for Syracuse on Friday as they tied with Princeton in overtime 4-4. Now, despite the Orange never trailing during this game and still not coming away with a victory, the power play was strong, scoring 3 goals. Head coach Paul Flanagan says it was the Orange's night on the power play.
You know, they went in tonight, to be honest with you. There's some nights we get as many or more chances. They went in tonight, to be honest with you, and that's what it is sometimes. Sometimes they go in, you know, sometimes you're the bug, sometimes you're the windshield. And that's what it is.
I think we just moved the puck really fast and got shots on net. Usually we just keep it perimeter. But I think we worked it really fast and well, and they weren't able to get to the spots where they were supposed to be. So I think we just got a lot of opportunities off of that.
It felt really good. I was really happy to be able to actually finish a whole game tonight. So feeling good. I'm just kind of ready to take a Christmas break. I think our whole team is after we get hopefully 2 points tomorrow, and then rest up and get back for the new year.
Again, Syracuse comes up with a tie tonight, but tomorrow they're right back at it here at Tennedy facing Princeton. Game time set for 2 p.m. Reporting from Tennedy Ice Pavilion, Chile Cassiadelle, CitrusTV.
Well, obviously, that second game against Princeton did not go Syracuse's way. However, the Orange have a strength, and it's pretty easy. It's the power play. 13 of Syracuse's 46 goals, and if you do your math correctly again, that's 28% of SU's goals have come on the power play. They just always can capitalize when they have that extra player on the ice. They got to continue to lean on that if they want to get back in the win column. Now, time for the benchies. Back to the benches we go, as now it is time to hand out the award for Best Name. Pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. What athlete has the coolest name on campus, Brad?
It's not Brad Klein.
No, it's not.
It's quite mundane. Maybe if you were Jaron April, I'd give you a nod.
That would be a little cooler.
For the first nominee, maybe the nickname could just be Hydra. Joe and Matthew Dragon were scorching all year for the track squad. The two led Syracuse to first place in the NCAA Regional Championships. Dragon
Dragon.
Dragon.
Pretty darn cool. Our next nominee is Aphrodite Giolakis. Whew. It's a fun one to say. Aphrodite Giolakis. She's a junior on the rowing team and is originally from Australia. I mean, try saying Aphrodite Giolakis 5 times fast.
Try saying it one more time. I'm impressed.
Aphrodite Giolakis.
Wow. Does he get the benchy?
I
feel
think
like
I
he should.
Man, my name in
that's
here?
pretty good.
Maybe.
Hey, we have one more nominee. Heavy favorite. Baby girl Tarley. I'm not even kidding. Baby girl Tarley. Now, her real name, Kennedy Tarley, but who cares? Baby girl Tarley debuted with a first place finish in the 400 meter, but again, who cares? I mean, her name is Baby girl Tarley.
And look at these names. I mean, Dragon, Giolakis, Baby Girl. They're sports I don't even really care about. I kind of just want to continue saying their names.
Could I be Baby Boy?
I don't know. Are you related to Baby Girl?
No.
All right, then you're not Baby Boy Tarley or Baby Boy Klein. All right, those are our 3 nominees. Now we go to the envelope to find out. Here we go. Actually, we don't need it.
Way.
It's Baby Girl Tarley.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. We don't even need the envelope. Do you have any objection?
No, her name is Baby Girl Tarley.
Okay.
That's her name.
There we go. Baby Girl Tarley gets the benchy. That was the easiest decision of the show. Now, after the break, Brad and I will be in our tuxes. Well, maybe not, but maybe so, to hand out some more benchies and wrap up an amazing year of On the Bench. Don't touch that remote. We'll be right back.
Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. Gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, quick. Oh yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. So wet.
They said a bottle was just a bottle. That no one would ever notice me. But I knew I could be more. That one day, I would make people smile.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who once took care of you.
Wrapping up shop here on the Bench and the Benchies. Welcome back into the CitrusTV studio. Jaron May, Brad Klein. We were not quick enough to change into our tuxes, but we still look pretty darn good. I will say you're looking pretty handsome. And now we have to hand out some more Benchies.
Okay.
Here we
male
go.
Athletes.
Yes,
here we
male
go.
athletes.
The Benchies coming down the home stretch. Male Athlete of the Year. Jaron, first nominee.
Okay, first nominee for Best Male Athlete is who else but Sean Tucker. The running back set SU's single-season rushing record with 1,496 yards, which was 4th best in the country. He also had a program record 9 100-plus yard games and tallied 14 touchdowns. For all of that, Tucker has earned multiple All-American nods, is All-ACC first team, and is still in the running for a couple national awards. Oh, and of course, he's a nominee for the Benchies.
Sean Tucker, Male Athlete of the Year nominee.
Easy.
Not surprised.
Yeah.
Easy. Our next Best Male Athlete nominee, Buddy Boeheim, or as he's better known as Bunny Buckets. The preseason All-ACC first-teamer has been lighting it up for Cuse men's basketball in 2021. He averaged a team-high 18 points per game last year, not to mention his 25 per in the postseason, while leading SU to the Sweet 16. Despite a bit of a slow start this year, Buddy is doing it again as the clear #1 option.
Buddy Buckets, Buddy Boeheim. How about Stephen Rafis is our final nominee. The 6th-year senior was a Tewaaraton Award nominee. Rafis was the team's leading point scorer last season, and he took a huge jump up from the previous season after scoring only 2 goals in 2020 and in 5 games, but still Rafis netted a career-best 26 goals in 2021.
So many great options. Look at this. I mean, just to be on this list, it's an honor. Sean Tucker breaking records, Bunny Boeheim redefining the family name, and Stephen Rafis reminding everyone that SU's a lacrosse school.
Oh yeah, 3 really good teams, 3 really good athletes, 3 deserving guys to be up there.
Drum roll. Here it is. Okay, best male athlete of the year. I think I got it somewhere.
There we go. Ooh,
there we
up the
go.
sleeve.
You like that?
How creative.
Yeah, all right. The best male athlete of the year, Sean Tucker. No brainer.
Yeah.
Male Athlete of the Year, second-year freshman, earned almost every All-America honor you can think of, and anytime people even consider number 44, it's a good year.
Yeah.
Sean Tucker.
Oh yeah, Sean Tucker, easy best male athlete on this campus. So Sean Tucker is your Male Athlete of the Year, but who will be your Female Athlete of the Year here at the Benchies? There are a lot of candidates, but only 3 could be our nominees. Brad, numero uno.
Man, it's really hard to choose, but I'm just the messenger here. Okay, numero uno is Megan Tyrell. Numero 18?
Yes.
How do you say 18?
Too hard for
Whatever. The All-American notched 68 goals, 44 assists, 3rd most points per game in the conference. She was asked to pick up a lot of slack come tournament time, with Megan Carney and Emily Harris-Shuck going down. But hey, Megan Tyrell doing what Syracuse needed her to do.
Yeah, Megan Tyrell was fantastic. It was a fun team to watch, that women's lacrosse squad as well. The second nominee for Female Athlete of the Year is Amanda Vestry of the cross-country team. The senior was not only the best distance runner here at SU, but the best in the ACC and towards the top of the entire country. Vestry was the NCAA Northeast Regional Champ, finished first in the 5,000 meter at the ACC Championships, and finished in the top 10 in multiple other major invitationals. She was also recognized as a second-team All-American and was All-Conference.
Unbelievable for Amanda Vestry,
Yeah.
just making
Amazing.
people pay attention there.
Yeah.
Then there's Marina Markova. The Russian just stepped up with her countrywoman Polina Shimanova stepping down in a big way. Shimanova had one of the slowest seasons of her career. Markova erupted. She had double-digit kills in all but 2 matches and 9 double-doubles on the year.
A lot of great candidates as we check out our 3 nominees. Megan Tyrell of SU Women's Lacks, Amanda Vestry of the cross-country team, and Marina Markova of the volleyball squad. All right, again, 3 very deserving nominees, but only 1 can be our Female Athlete of the Year. I didn't get it up my sleeve, but I do have it in my back pockets. So, Female Athlete of the Year, here we go. The Benchie goes to, wow, that's a little difficult to get out. Here we go, Amanda Vestry of SU Cross Country. I mean, why not? She was fantastic in her sport and really got some people buzzing about SU Cross Country.
Amanda Vestry was kind of the knockout candidate. She was the Vegas favorite, too.
Yes.
I don't know if you're familiar.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so we move on now. There's no me in Benchie. Sure, there might be an I, but what are you going to do? Hey, it's time for the nominees for Team of the Year.
Okay, first nominee?
Yeah, let's do it.
Our first nominee is the Syracuse field hockey team. Before the season began, the Orange were picked to finish dead last in the conference. Despite that, SU went 14-6, made it to the ACC semifinals and the NCAA Elite 8. Plus, 4 Syracuse players were named All-Americans, and Ainge Bradley and her assistants were named Regional Staff of the Year. SU field hockey was a true underdog story this season, and it was extremely fun to follow.
Unbelievable campaign by Syracuse field hockey. Then there's women's lacrosse, 1 game away from the program's first national championship. They did that without Emily Harris-Shuck, without Megan Carney, the 2 top scorers for Syracuse. They went down with knee injuries, season-ending knee injuries. Imagine what this team would have accomplished, should have accomplished, could have accomplished without that unexpected and virtually impossible to overcome speed bump.
Yeah, so many great players, so many great memories from that team. That SU women's lax squad was really fun. Now our final nominee for best team is the SU men's basketball squad. The Orange had a decent regular season in 2021, a bubble team like usual, but what was really setting them apart was their postseason play. Syracuse almost bested number 2 seeded Virginia in the ACC tournament, then went on to make a Cinderella run to the Sweet 16 during March Madness, and Buddy Boeheim was magical. The supporting cast was a thrill to watch. Cuse Men's Hoops, a team very deserving of this nomination.
Unbelievable. Hey, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Unbelievable performance by Syracuse men's basketball. The only men's squad on this rotation here.
Yeah.
Field hockey had a chance to be even better because they were hosting the ACC tournament, didn't go as far as they wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, field hockey, women's lax, men's basketball, very deserving.
All right, here it goes.
You got the envelope?
Well,
it's up the sleeve again.
This sleeve's gone. How about this one?
Oh.
It's somewhere here. What?
Oh,
Whoa.
There it is.
Right there. All right. The Benchy for Team of the Year. Women's lacrosse.
Oh, yeah.
Not really the honor that this team was hoping for, but a Benchy, nice consolation prize, right? Syracuse women's lacrosse expected maybe a national championship, didn't get it, lost in the final game, but again, so many injuries and the legendary Kayla trainer taking over. Gary Gate, he is done as the head coach. Megan Carney, Emily Harris-Schuck, they're coming back, they're healthy. Emma Ward, Megan Tyrell, they're not going anywhere. Something tells me this might not be the final Benchy for this team.
No, that team has a lot of potential moving forward. That's going to do it for our Benchies, but we do need to give a special thank you, because this is our last episode of On the Bench for this season, for our producers. The executive producer, Will Shea, the associate producers, Spencer Pierce, Jared Johnson, and Jesse Cook. They make doing this show so much fun, an inviting, welcoming environment, and they put together some great television. Specifically, the executive producer, Will Shea, he's been associate producer, he's been the sports director here at CitrusTV, he's been the executive producer of On the Bench, and not to mention, he is my best friend here on campus. So a big thank you to Will Shea for everything that he has done in the past.
Yeah, that's why you watch the show, that's why we do the show. Will Shea and his staff, just unbelievable pros.
Yeah, Will Shea, I mean, you're a pro, my man. All right, that's going to do it for On the Bench. Thank you so much for watching in today and the past. For Brad Klein, I'm Jaron May. One last time, enjoy your images, not of the week, but of the year.
The dream is alive for the Syracuse Orange.
In SU women's basketball history, that of course is Tiana Mangakakia. Tiana played her final game in Orange last week. She holds multiple school records. Off the court, she beat cancer, and she returned to the court this year to play at an elite level once again.
2, 1, it's his night. No, of course it's going in. No, there, Boeheim. Woo.